Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll make the hair, eyes, eyebrows, teeth, and tongue. So let's get started. I'm going to delete the stuff I made before and we'll start from scratch. So the first thing I want to do is just make some eyes. And if we go to our front view, I'm going to hide the body and take a look at what the eyes look like. So they look kind of like cat eyes. They're like big eyeballs with like a vertical slit for a pupil. So we'll start with a sphere. Let's bring the sphere up and rotate to face us like this. Now, when you're creating eyes, it's important that the scale is right because let's unhide the body. So to unhide the body, to unhide the last thing you've hidden, you just press Ctrl-Shift-H. It will unhide the last thing that you've hid. So when you're creating eyes like this, you can see that in order for me to fit the eyes in the way we built them last time, I have to kind of push them in. So that means that our pupil is going to be like too close to the nose, too close to the bridge. So we'll need to adjust that. But first I want to make sure my scale is right. And then what I'll do is I will rotate the eye after I place it to line up to the pupil. Now, normally it kind of looks odd, you know, if you're making like the eye on the real person is always facing forward. But when you're creating like anime characters with oversized eyes, you can see that their eyes kind of sweep back on the head. So you have to counteract that, like counter the rotation or the position by rotating the pupil out. And it would look kind of weird if on a real person, but on these characters it looks perfectly fine. So here's my pupil. And for my subdivisions, I want my subdivision axis to be something really heavy, like 32. And then my height, I want to also, I don't want it to be too heavy, but not also, I want to also make sure I have enough subdivisions. And I'm looking for mostly square faces, but also I need an edge loop on the outside of the iris. Something like this I think would work, like that. So this will be our iris, like that. Probably make it a little bigger, so we'll need to reduce. And also, when you're doing this, always work in even numbers. So if you add a 40, end up on 41, just go to 40. So let's see, this one is good. So that's going to be our iris. We can also kind of rotate, go to object mode and then rotate the eye just to match that section there. Okay, when I'm happy with this, what I want to do is I want to mark that edge. And one way to mark this edge is just to harden it. So you can go to Mesh Display, harden edge, and now we know where that is. And the reason I do this is because I want to hide the body and work just on this eye, but it's going to be really hard to work on it with all of these rotations that I just added. So what I want to do is I want to key it, so key selected, and then set this to 0, and then the rotation here to 90. This will let us work, you know, from the side view and from the front perfectly fine, but we can always go back to that rotation by just moving the timeline. So again, 0 and 90, like that. So I want to duplicate this eye. Well, let's do actually the back first. So there's a way that I like to work. I'm gonna hide this. Well, let's get rid of these extra layers that I brought in by accident. So right now when I look at this eyeball, you can see we're looking at the front. I want to work on the back, so I'm going to hold J and then rotate it until I get to the back, which is also just type in 180 and rotate Y. And I want to quad this off. You don't have to do this. I like to do it because I'm just a little crazy like this. But I'm going to find the 45-degree subdivision, which is this line here, like that, and go straight up. So it's this edge here, like that. So when I do this like that, I can just continue creating these concentric edge loops. I can then just go past here and do the same thing on this side. It's a little confusing to see what I'm doing, but basically what I'm trying to do here is remove the pole in the back. This will be very helpful later on. Okay. And then all we need to do is just double click all of these edges, except the 90-degree ones. I'm just holding shift and left double clicking. Now we can press Control Delete that, and then select these remaining edges. Delete those, and now we have this quadded back. Okay, when you press 3, there's no pole. Like we have a pole here, but we don't have a pole here. It's nice and clean. Okay. So now for the front, I want to duplicate the eyeball because we'll need a couple. So I'm going to duplicate it and hide it. And then from the front, which is, actually, let's put this back to 0. The front here, I want to select these faces that make up what we decided to be the iris. I'm going to put a lattice on it. So go to Deform, Lattice. If you open the options, the settings you want are 2, 2, 2, and then local divisions 30, 30, and 30. Hit Apply. Those settings will be saved now, but what this lets us do is select the lattice points here. So right click lattice points, and then just use the Z arrow, and then we can invert the iris. Just move it back like that. Clear history. Okay, good. Now we need to create that oval pupil, and I don't want to work on I don't want to double the work, so I'm going to turn on symmetry. So select the center line, symmetry, turn on topological symmetry. Let's go into multi-cut tool, and I'm going to start here. So with symmetry, you can't start on the center, so I'm going to start here and then just go out and see if I can make an edge loop that works. So once you make your cut, I want to delete, like make a selection, you can go back and adjust all of the cuts that you have, and we can round this out. That. All right. Now I'm going to delete half because I don't want to work on more than I need to. And what I need to do now is create basically all of these loops here, see these guys, we need to make sure they go over this oval because this is going to be a hole, right? So we need to get rid of that. So I'm going to we can pre-select and just start deleting it. Make sure hold Control and deselect the back and just hit delete like that. And now we need to redirect these edge loops. And the way we're going to do that is just go up here, and we're going to divide this into 2. So this is the first one, like that, and then from here we go out. And I don't know where it's going to end up, so I'm just going to create them and then adjust after. I'm kind of happy with it. Oops. Sorry, I'm using Maya 2025, and for some reason the zoom is really strong here. Like when I'm trying to zoom using the Alt and middle drag, and then middle drag and left mouse button. I'm not sure why it's snapping like that. It's just a little bug. Okay, like this, and then go this way. Here. Oops. Make sure you don't right click to finish. So in order to finish the multi-cut tool, you just right click. Now if you see how it's snapping, so all you have to do is just get closer and you'll have a little more control. Right click to finish. Now we can double click this edge loop and this one and Control Delete. And now we have our pupil cut out. I want to bevel this edge here. Shift, bevel, turn chamfer on. That'll give us a nice sharp bevel there. And now the other thing that we need to do here is we need to take this edge and just push it forward because it's kind of flat. So, but you can do, if you don't know, if you want to zoom in but see the manipulator, hold D and V and middle drag after pressing W. This will bring the manipulator to the closest vertex. Now I can just click the Z arrow and then push it out. And you can see I'm trying to rotate that. Okay, like this. Okay. And then what I like to do is I like to make sure that Yeah, let's make this is a little weird here, so I'm just going to adjust it, make it a little rounder than it is right now. Okay, and maybe adjust this a little bit. Okay, I want to add an edge loop on the inside. So I'm going to open up the insert edge loop tool, set it to equal distance from edge, turn off fixed squats, autocomplete on, and then we can just do this. Okay, and then select this edge loop on the inside, and then we're going to extrude just in like that, just to create like a little edge. Okay, now we can, so I need to duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate and then rotate. Now here's the problem. We have this rotation that I saved with a key. Right now the problem, if I combine these, we'll lose that key. So I'm going to take this original one that has the key, I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to hide that one. We can always go back to it, but right now what I can do is just work on a new object. I'm going to merge the vertices. Oops. So let's undo that. When you click merge vertices, you want to check the distance threshold. By default, it could be set pretty high. So what you can do is you can just double click the merge tool and then type in, for some reason I like to use 006 and hit apply. That's too high. So let's do 004. Okay, let's just go to 001. Apply. There we go. And then click soften edge, soften our edges. There. And make sure that everything that needs to be connected is connected. Okay. Right, now we need to create a shape to catch light inside the pupil, right? Because right now this is just a hole. So technically we would be able to see inside. So if there's a texture, we'd be able to see it. Also, there's a kind of a pinch going on here. I want to adjust that. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a lattice. So if I select this face, then shift double click the face next to it, and then do the same with the next edge loop, I can make a lattice. I already have a button for it. I'm going to set the T divisions vertically like this. This will give me extra divisions here. Right click, lattice point, and then I can scale just this in here. And you can see what we can get is we can just pull in this. That looks better. Yep. Okay, so now let's create that shape inside. And the easiest way to do that is to make a cube. I'm gonna just hold V and snap it. It'll snap it to the closest vertex. So I'm snapping to the center of the sphere that I made. And we're just gonna move it over like this, kind of make it a little larger, and then subdivide. So poly smooth. So this button here, add polygons, or it's under mesh smooth. And I'm gonna subdivide it twice, like this. We'll end up with this geometry here. We can select the faces over here, and you can see now we have this shape inside, but we're seeing the inside of it. So we just need to inverse its normals. Mesh display, click reverse. That will reverse the normals. And we can still see some edge there, so we just need to move it closer. I want to take the front here, just kind of flatten this out by using scale, and then move it forward. We can scale it, and all we needed to do is to go past this part here so we can't see inside. But now this is what we'll see. And normally it would be the size of your eyeball, but we don't have to do that. We can just create this fake version because it's just going to be black. And we can actually combine the two together. They don't have to be separate, like this. Okay, now the next part is we need to bring back this eye that we used from before, and the reason is that we need to make the lens, right? And the way you do that is you take the eye again here, and we slightly scale it up like this. Now the back, I want the same quadded version on the back. So what I can do here is just to select half, delete, take this, duplicate it, hold J, rotate it, combine, merge, soften edge, like that. And now for the lens, you can see it's going to be like here. So we need to add an edge loop over here. And this one I can insert with edge flow. This will actually round off the edge loop. We'll add 2 like this. So now if I select these 4 faces in the middle, hold shift and then press period, which is also the caret keys, right? It's right above the right alt, and press period will increase my selection, and then comma will decrease. So I want to select this much geometry, and then again we'll put a lattice on it. And now what we can do with this lattice is add a division this way, add 2. And then we can take the lattice points here and push it out, and then all of this out like that. And that will create a lens. Just push it back a little and spread it out just a little bit so it's not so. Okay, there we go. Now the way you can make an eyeball is just to select the outside sphere and assign a new material, standard surface, and then go into transmission and set the weight to maximum, like that. And then to sharpen the highlight, we just need to take the roughness and bring it down to the size of like how sharp you want it to be. So it's basically like a liquid for the I call it the sclera. It's the lens and the sclera is outside. So I'm just going to make it 1.55. That's the index of refraction for water and glass, I think. So this works. Now the other thing that we can do here is if you want to be a little more reflective, you can add like metalness, but you don't have to do that. But this is enough. Now before we do anything else, I like to UV because we're going to duplicate. So doing UVs now will help. So I'm going to go to Modify, Freeze, Reset, Clear History, and now we can just do UVs real quick. So first thing, automatic map. Actually, let's do UV planar and then Z direction. Apply, like that. This will project it from the front. But then the lens here, we just need to split it in 2. Its UVs really don't matter too much because it's just glass or transparency. So shift right click and click cut. Now I don't like to see my UVs this way, so I'm going to go to view, open the grid options and set this to 0.5, hit apply. This will be a little easier to look at. Then select all the UVs here, unfold, hold shift right click and then click unfold, like that. And then we can just snap them here and then scale that, and then snap this here and scale that. That's it for that part. And then this, same thing. We're going to split it down the middle, right here. We're also going to split it right here as well. We're going to cut the iris off. And then shift, cut, like that. Then select the UVs, shift right click, unfold. Oh, that's the back. Front. iris can go in the middle. So I'm holding X to snap, and that can go over here. It's a little distorted because of the way it's unfolded, so we can just scale it. That. And then this is the inside of the pupil. Put it in the middle and just scale it down. We're just going to make it black. So our texture will look like this. Okay, our history. And now let's unhide this sphere. So this is the sphere that's going to rotate the eye properly. The first I'm going to do, what I'm going to do is name this. This will be, let's see, this is the left eye, L, I, mid. So I like to call it mid. You can call it whatever, it doesn't matter. Or just nothing, L, I. And then L, sclera, or lens, whatever you decide. Do lens. That. And now I'm going to group it. Like that. And call this LIGRP. There. And center the pivot on it. Now the only thing is this pivot is not actually centered because our lens goes forward. So I'm going to hold D and V and then grab the Z arrow and snap it to the center. Now what I can do is take this eye and drop it inside this sphere that has the animation that I keyed. Now all I need to do is move the timeline. It's going to snap it into position. I can then take the group and middle drag it outside. Also this top smidge we don't need. So this eye we don't need anymore. That was just for the rotation. So if we unhide the body, there it is. I think it's a little rotated too high, so we'll just bring it down. You can also adjust the rotation to what you think is proper, but okay. Now I want to make the other eye. So in order to do this, I can't really like duplicate it properly because it's not going to have the proper rotations. So I'm going to take this group here and group it again. Then I'm going to duplicate that group. Now I can put a -1 in X like that, and then take both of these eyes out of the group. But first I need to rename this one to R instead of L before I take it out of the group. Like that. Take it out, and take that one out, and delete the groups. Okay. Now, what I want to do now, actually, let's see. So the next step that I want to do is to make the teeth and gums and the tongue, right? So it's actually really easy to do. It sounds complicated. The easiest way to do like animate teeth is just to make a box like this. Make it a little wide, something like that. Give it some divisions this way. That will do. A little taller, and you can see what it looks like. It looks something like this. Now if we subdivide it once, this is the geometry we get. You can then delete the bottom here, and then take the vertices here and then scale them in Y. I'll just do this. So that will give us like, scale this in a little. That'll give us some teeth looking geo. The problem is that your front teeth are thinner than your molars, right? So to fix this, I'm going to add a lattice, add some divisions in S, like this. Yep. Select these two lattice points here and move it forward, like that. So this is what our teeth would look like. Now to make it match what your inside of the mouth would look like, we just add a deformer, non-linear bend, like that. Now the bend deformer, you'll see on the right here, under inputs, you have the curvature, but it's not rotated in the right direction. So we just need to hold J, rotate it this way, apply a little bit of curvature, hold J again, and then rotate it this way. Now we can just adjust the bend deformer until you feel like it's something like this is good. Now if we duplicate it, press E and then hold J and rotate the other side. We can then scale this a little bit, make the front teeth a little bigger, and they kind of overlap the bottom teeth. Now they also kind of interlock, right? So that. Then add a new material, assign new material, standard surface, call it teeth, make it pure white, and it shouldn't be too reflective, but a little reflective, so something like, set the roughness to like 0.4 or something. Now let's group it so we can move them together and then place them inside the mouth. The reason I group it so that I can move them together and scale them together. And just line up the top teeth. Here we can adjust the width, just make them fit inside the mouth. And all they do is just penetrate the mouth socket. You can create gums if you want. I can show you how to do that. So it's not too difficult at all. What we'll do here is we'll duplicate the teeth. I'm going to Shift P will drop them out of the group that they're in. So like this. I'm going to hide the teeth for a second. Double click, add an edge loop where I think the gums would be, like here, and then the other ones slowly. Then delete this geo here. The reason I'm doing that is so that I can select this edge loop, click extrude, and then push it out in. I'm holding control, left clicking on thickness and dragging, and then doing the same on offset, like that. Let's do the same here. And then we can just extrude again, and again we're doing thickness and offset, just creating like a shape like this. And it could be, it could just be larger, and because it's going to go into the mouth, so you really won't see it. It's going to penetrate the mouth sock. I just wanted to. Now, select these faces, delete, delete, and then the same here. And I'm going to soften edge. And then select the gums here, and then assign a new material, standard surface, call it gums, maybe a little darker, like that. I also don't want to have the sharp edge where they're going to meet the teeth, so I'm going to just select this edge, click extrude, and just kind of push it in using thickness, and same here. Left of that, and if we unhide the teeth, that's what they look like. Okay, now let's name everything. So this is gums, this is up, so U for up, or T for tongue. Gums, and gums, teeth, and B. Now let's make the tongue. Let's hide the body here. So if we look inside, actually, you can see what it's going to look like in the mouth sock. You have the teeth, here are the gums. They just penetrate the mouth sock. If they don't, if you see that they're not going all the way through, just select some of the edges and just push them up. And same here, this is all fine. You just want to make sure they're not going through the front of the face, and they're not. Now let's make the tongue. That's going to be really easy. Same thing, make a cube, just snap it to the closest vertex, push it out like this. Let's add some divisions. We need depth divisions, something like that. Select the back of the tongue, the face there, and delete it, so when you press 3 it looks like this. Now if we adjust it, just doing something like this, it already kind of looks like a tongue from the top view. Also select this face and scale it. Looks good. Okay, now we need to curve it to the back of the mouth. So the way you do that is I'm going to press 5 and then turn on this button. This is X-ray. Now I can see the tongue there. It's of course too big, so we'll just scale it down. Place it like at the back of the teeth. This. And then press F9. This will take us into vertex selection. And then we can select these vertices here, rotate those down toward the throat. There it is. Now press smooth to subdivide, and then to kind of finish it up, take this part, these edges here, and push them in. There. Their history, freeze, reset, and that's good enough. And then call this. Okay, kind of ran out of time here. I want to make a new video very soon just to do the hair, but the eyes and the teeth and tongue are done. And we can kind of test to see if the teeth and tongue are moving by just using some soft selection. Oops. I'm going to turn off X-ray and then select these vertices here. Kind of grow my selection. But selecting the mouth there, some jaw, and then press B. This is will turn on soft select and just make it a little wider. Make sure our soft select is set to not volume but surface. Now we can just increase that. Hold B and middle drag to increase our soft selection. Then move our pivot to where the jaw bone would be, which is here. And open the ears. Those are the teeth, and the teeth would actually rotate the same way. They would actually move at the same pivot as the jaw. So when they would open, same with the tongue. Move down, and this is what it would look like. It's good, so let's just undo all of that. Okay. So in the next video, we'll do the hair, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.